Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. Let's take a look at another example of finding an inverse function. Let's suppose that we have f of x is equal to negative 2 minus square root of 1 minus x. Okay, let's find the inverse function. So we swap our x's and y's, thinking of this as y. So we swap them. And we solve for y. So let's put the plus 2. Then we square both sides. So we end up getting x plus 2 quantity squared. And that's equal to, now when you square this, the negative goes away and you're just left with 1 minus y because the squaring interacts with the square root that way. And so then we have, you could just put the y over here and that over there to get y equals 1 minus x plus 2 quantity squared, however you would like to do it. Subtract this from both sides and add y to both sides. Okay, so we get something like this. This would be the inverse function, except not quite. Because this right here is a parabola, and parabolas don't pass the horizontal line test, which means it does not have an inverse. So we're going to have to do some restriction here. Restrict it. So let's see how we should restrict it. We restrict it by figuring out what the range is of the original function, because that's going to be the domain of the inverse. So what's the range? Let's think about how this graphs. Now, to find the range, all we have to focus on is the vertical transformations. Horizontal transformations don't affect the range. The vertical ones do. So I think about things that happen outside the square root. So first of all, we start with a square root graph, y equals square root of x. Then what's happening to it? We're doing some vertical transformations. The first thing we do is we multiply by a negative, meaning we've reflected. The next thing we do is we subtract 2 to all the y values. So basically, it's going to look like this going down. So it looks like the range actually of the original starts right here at -2 and it goes downward. So that means y is less than or equal to -2. When we swap our x's and y's, now this will become x is less than or equal to -2. And we've been successful at finding the inverse function. Notice that finding the formula is only one part of it, because a function is both the formula and the domain. So not only do we find the formula, but we better find the domain. We can find the domain by finding the range of the original function. We find the range of the original function by looking at transformations and getting it. Thanks for watching.